Young Justice, a show that can never seem to die. Not even an anti-monitor away from Crisis on Infinite Earths could kill it.
Currently, Young Justice is cancelled, but has the reputation of a show to keep surviving, often coming up with new ideas to expand on its world and such. So I figured I'd pitch hypothetical ideas for Young Justice Season 5.
Now for starters, whatever I'm going to pitch isn't exactly my most ideal idea for Young Justice season.
I'm working with very specific parameters.
So let's begin. For a start, I'm acting under the assumption this is the show's last season. It would be nice to get plural seasons, maybe even one exploring the events between season 1 and 2, the real big mystery time jump, but I'm just going to act as if this is their last season.
26 to 20 episodes.
There will be some resolution. Also the time jump. I would say make the time jump 5 years at least, if not more. Let's face it, whenever this season comes out, it would be already years after season 4, ended in 2022. And time jumps are just kind of the show's thing. When I really cared would have been between season 1 and 2. Between 2 and 3 it was expected after coming from cancellation, and between 3 and 4 there isn't even that much of a jump. And hey, the time between season 1 and 3, both real time and in showtime, matches up, so maybe it could be the same way leading up to season 5, making season 2 the odd one out. People are iffy about the time jump pitch, but I got a story to cook. So within this time period, a lot, if not most of the original Justice League team are retired. You know, showing a bit of progression. There's a Titans Academy with new young heroes, including most of the children from the Home Fries episode, the 2 Super Sons, a distant child of Vandal Savage, and a child of Connor McGann, who is now the new Beast Boy.
They'll be the ones to finally deal with the light when I get to it.
I just figure with how much the story's expanded overall, I might as well establish a school system for these characters. We are long past the days of the team being some covert ops group residing in a retired Justice League base. The heroes learn from the mistakes of their past, and they're gonna help each other grow. A lot of the former team, as well as Justice League members, both current and retired, are teachers at this Titans Academy. In fact, it's about time Young Justice takes the Titans name. Season B, Young Justice Titans.
A lot of the story could be making this school idea work. There could be a lot of episodic stuff based around the class structures and such. I could see some potential. Part of the rationale going with the Titans, well, in Greek mythology, the Titans ruled before a great battle with the gods, and the Young Justice characters view themselves going through that specific battle, in part with former Justice League, but more specifically the Corrupt Light. I mean, hey, the main Titan was Kronos, Time God, and Vandal Savage's Master of Time. So hey, something show specific. Maybe gods would have been a better name, but little too uppity, and Titans evokes that certain story. There could be a bit of conflict evoking certain mascots. Like they think, oh, let's go with a bear, until they realize that's like Vandal's animals, so I don't know, Beast Boy's our mascot. Anyway, now for some other characters to focus on. Blue Beetle. I feel like a lot of stuff from Young Justice Invasion got pushed aside in some of the later seasons, and I think putting focus on Blue Beetle would help. Show a bit of his evolution from reluctant hero who kind of wants to scare off him to kind of being one of the main heroes now.
I envision him becoming a lot bulkier and really powerful. Interesting distinction from the movie version of Blue Beetle.
Also another character to throw in, Kal Rayner. Green Lanterns could use rep in general. And it's interesting within this show, Green Lanterns basically got no rep in the first 3 seasons. And it was in season 4 where they were just starting to dip their toes in. So you know what, it feels like a natural progression to bring in Kal Rayner. He'll be younger than the original Young Justice team, but older than the students in Titans Academy. You know what, he's an art teacher. Green Lantern art teacher seems cool. Also, when Wally inevitably comes back, that would certainly shake things up. Like, when Wally comes back, he'd have hardly aged, while the rest of his teammates significantly aged, so Kal Rayner's more his age range. And he can also entertain Wally with his various lanternisms. So okay, some ideas for the Bat Family. Inevitably, there's a lot of Bat Family lore, which would be really tricky to dive into, so to focus in on things. Red Hood. He's been teased for a few seasons, so gotta do something with him. I thought of like an Aired Fakal story, but that seems a bit ambitious. How about Red Hood with an Outlaws team? It could include Car Supergirl, the original Roy, Arsenal, Cheshire. It would be something for Nightwing, maybe borrowing Batman's mantle to investigate. They take just a little far and he's gotta stop it. Eventually there's some resolution. Throwing a bone a bit to Calder, he has become the most powerful Atlantean, masters of ocean. He already was Aquaman, so it makes sense. He would become king of Atlantis, an ocean master, dare I say. Not quite like that. Going for the whole Titans theme and being semi-lightning based, I see him dealing the final blow to Vandal Savage, putting that helmet on him. Miss Martian and Superboy. Miss Martian be a headmaster of a school, and Superboy is now Superman at this point. Yep, living up the mantle. Able to push his limits a little bit. And how about some Tim Drake love? I feel like giving Tim Drake some respect. I'm actually having him contrast with Damian a bit. The smartest Robin versus the most acrobatic Robin. Maybe humble him a little. Okay, so little Artemis at this point in the story, well, she's really moved on. Sorry, Wally Artemis shippers, but season 3 was about her acceptance. 4 showed her if never guy. At this point in the story, she might as well seem to have kids of her own, or pregnant. Pregnant Archer. I will say the whole secret Miss Martian, Rocket, and Zatanna told still haunts them a bit, for the sake of already moving on. Miss Martian's a mom now, so she shouldn't think of that. Rocket's also been there. And Zatanna, well, I see something else. So at this point in the story, I'd say Zatara has passed on. And with that tragedy, Zatanna has decided to put the Helmet of Fate to rest,
using loopholes to end the pact. Season 4 established other magic disciples to carry on the burden of Nebu, but you think Zatanna's gonna allow that? She's like, no. Other heroes got this covered. Helmet's being shelved. I'll just put in another dimension. Let me be a cool magic teacher.
Although, it will return in some form. Now, Zatanna experimenting with magic is learning a bit about Talk to the Dead. Let's just roll with it since it was kind of dumb to establish that anyway. So she learns that Wally is not exactly dead, but not exactly alive. He's in Speed Force limbo, with a bit of time travel, so that ghost is like occasionally flashing. With Revelation, a resurrection shouldn't be that difficult. She does a few tricks and then ta-da! Wally's back. And what a time to return, bud. At this point, I'm just going to keep neutral for how this stuff would even work. Like, there was a big story in the comics that dealt with the return of Wally West, Heroes in Crisis, which did not look good for Wally, and chances are if they did adapt that sort of story, it would be even worse in the context of a show. Plus, how Artemis would react to Zatanna, Miss Martian, and Rocket lying to her, maybe some other villain manipulations between Delight and frickin' Metron. Metron's been dipping with time travel, so why not have an experiment with him? This is a little much. You know what, let's touch on Delight and how we see them. So at this point in the story, Darkseid and Apocalypse are taken care of. They are not really factoring more. Delight are really scraping by at this point. We saw them be like 9 members in season 1 and 2, 7 members in 3 and 4. At this point, I only see him being like 5 members. Vandal's the main dude, Queen Bee with her manipulations, Lex doing his business, Ultra Humanite with his science majumbos, and maybe room for some 5th member. I see Clarion being out of it. He was like the Hail Mary on that team, and maybe some Chaos Force got neutralized once the helmet was dismantled or something. I see him being a really scrappy force, hiding in Markovia with a still mind-controlled Brion, and at best, Vandal's just holding on to a few nuclear options involving his world. There are a few options to take out this remaining light. Of course, the Outlaws think they could just go in hardcore brute force pop. But outside of the killing ethics, it's possible Vandal's holding on some last-ditch plans, maybe some involving a recently rescued Wally, maybe a few secret missions, try and get close enough to learn everything they can, eventually have it be the newest team to take him out. Eventually stuff gets resolved, Light's disbanded, and for the heck of it, maybe give Wally and Artemis her happily ever after. Zatanna could do some magic shit or something. I'm honestly just pitching it because I can imagine some fucked up shit happening before. And while some threads could be left open, the series ultimately does not end on a cliffhanger. Or sorry, not a cliffhanger, a ending stinger. But anyway, these are just a few of my ideas. There could be more to elaborate on. Maybe if the show does come back, there could be a whole other set of ideas they have in store. I don't know, we'll see if or when. Anyway, cheers.